Ace Hardware, man. There's no plan here.
You were working at Morgan's.
Yeah, Morgan's was
Tell
the
me about
nightmare of nightmares. Oh, my aching ass. And here's this guy, Jim, who carries a pistol in his pocket. He's got a pistol. He's got these baggy pants. He's about 50. And he has this gun all the time with him. This is the
why?
He's sure somebody's going to come and get him.
Yeah.
And he told me a story about shooting somebody's dog once. It was kind of marginal.
Yeah.
I wasn't really buying it. But when he started talking about...
Well, why did he shoot someone's dog?
Oh, he had a retarded son.
Yeah.
And they were out in the mountains hiking.
Jim
had
okay.
retarded. And they were hiking in the mountains, and they came to this... What was the thing that was a bone of contention? Somehow they came upon this campsite, and this guy was all pissed and wanted him to go away. Whether he was, God knows what he was doing. Don't even ask. You don't want to know. Let's hope it was only marijuana. Wasn't skinning some dog in the weeds or something. But he had a dog with him. And Jim said the dog came screeching at him across this little bridge, and he put his son behind him, and he pulled out his gun, and he blew the dog up. He said, and the guy came running, and I pointed the gun at him too, and he ran away. Come on, Jim, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I'm so not buying it. And then he got into his UFO stories.
Yeah.
They were fascinating. He came up to me once, and he said, people don't know about UFOs. I said, no? He said, no, what they see.
Did you say, what are UFOs?
What are UFO? In any case, he says, you don't see the UFO. You just see the vapor. The vapor. UFO's already gone. Oh, okay, Jim, thanks.
Yeah.
So anytime I was just grotesquely bored, I'd get him talking about his adventures in the mountains, hunting UFOs. And he just apparently did this constantly.
Yeah.
He was constantly walking out on his wife and going for 2 or 3 weeks in the mountain hunting for UFOs.
Around Washington?
Around Washington. He claimed that Mount Rainier was a real hovering site. It was one of the, what do they call them? One of the energy spots.
The vortex or something like that?
One of the vortex spots or energy spots or special places where UFOs go. And I just had the worst haircut of any man I've ever seen. How could a man have that kind of haircut? And
maybe it was the aliens gave him a haircut.
I wouldn't be surprised, because it was definitely one of those Hitler haircuts, really short on the side and flopped over, and just as lame as...
Do you know? Did he ever get abducted?
I certainly hope so, because I don't know any other reason why one would be that way, unless his DNA was really decrepit.
Well, so back at the CP, there was a guy named Duane.
Yes, there was Duane. They had a succession of these management types, and I don't know where they got them. I mean, somebody would walk in and say, yeah, I can manage, and they'd say, okay, go manage. I don't know, he had some kind of resume, and they say, we've got this easygoing Polynesian guy that's coming in, and he's going to be the manager. Well, easygoing sounds good. Polynesian's fine, because usually that is associated with easygoing. And he's the manager, and he figures that he's going to rearrange the whole place, which they always do for some reason, management types. Nothing is ever in the right place for new managers. So you gotta.
They can't believe that the place ran without them.
It has been making money for 13 years without him. Jesus, that's a mystery. In any case, so his first thing is he calls up all the reps around town, and he wants the reps, the big reps for, major tools and stone and so forth, to come in, because he's going to talk to them. Well, hell, we got this finite amount of space. It's a small space. So he starts ordering these huge amounts of things. And for instance, I'll give you the one that just made me marvel was have these perfectly good, reasonably priced drill bits, And he gets a new buy for less money on drill bits. But we got a whole wall of the goddamn things anyway. So we got to take all these drill bits off and put all these new drill bits on. And 1 month later, he got a better deal on another brand of drill bits. And all these had to come off and all this. And we had crates of drill bits all over the damn place. And it was like that, hammers. Now, how the hell many hammers do you need in a small hardware store? People aren't coming in for hammers. He buys a whole wall of hammers. 14 framing hammers. Framing hammers are just for framing. You can't use them for fine work because they have a waffled face on them. And if you hit fine wood at all, you see a waffle, it's gone, it's done. 14 frames.
Is some of that stuff in the store now, like the drill bits? Is that
It was when I left.
Like the kind of leftover, Duane leftovers, the plastic bins. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think we still have 14 different hammers, but you know.
Yeah, but
they're
they're functional.
14 different hammers.
You have tack hammers and this and that.
Yeah.
Most of them. You only have a couple of framing hammers now.
So tell me about Duane. What was he like? Besides being sounds like a control freak and some sort of
and he was
weird.
Also a fix-it guy in the funniest way imaginable. It was just so cartoonish. So you have to understand, there's all these rich folks that are right around the store and they want stuff and they come to the store, and they sell that very nice lawn furniture. So a guy wants one of those nice, black wrought iron and woven lounges, And he says to Wade, he said, any way to put wheels on this thing? Oh, God. Wade says, I can put wheels on that. And it's round piping. It's round. It's not squared off, you know. It's round. So he goes and get a bunch of these cheap, wheels that we have. And bless his heart, it was pretty ingenious. So he got some strapping, in plumbing, the plumber's strapping. He got the strapping and he cut it to length, and he wrapped the strapping through the support of the wheel around the round piping, cranked them down real good, got 4 of those all set up, and the guy goes off happy as can be, but as soon as he sits on it, boom, it goes flat because the pipes are all round. There's nothing supporting them.
He didn't tell me he wanted to sit on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Just wanted wheels.
So he comes dragging in one day, and I hadn't known that Wade did this, and he says, can you take these wheels off? He says, they just flop. They just flop whenever I sit on them. And I saw exactly what, okay, yeah. And he says, I don't want my money back. I just want these wheels off here. So he just took them off. And then he had to build this staircase to the side to get on top of the, in the delivery area.
Yeah.
On top of the
dock?
The dock, yes, the dock. And he cut out it all very nicely, cut all the pieces very nicely, had everything looking real good. And when he bolted it together, he used these tiny little screws that bit 1/4 of an inch. Everything rattled loose in no time and came crashing down.
So
Condemned.
So that's why I just noticed I had lunch there a few months ago on the dock, and that's why they're at every juncture there are these 2 giant carriage bolts that go
Absolutely.
12 inches long into the.
Judith had to get her husband in,
Oh.
and he locked it all up real good and tight. But and the poor fool, he just kept doing that. He'd say he could do something for people, and I'd just walk away going, because he had a certain charm.
Yeah.
He was Polynesian. He had a certain charm.
So whatever happened to Duane?
Duane lost $60,000 in the department in 1 year. And after I complained and several other people, look, we don't need this. Look, there were things dangling and hanging everywhere. There were hundreds of those little clip things. What do they call them?
Clip things.
They look like canes with clips on them that people
Right.
used to put
yeah.
potato chips
Yeah,
on.
on every corner.
They were everywhere. They were absolutely everywhere with stuff. Who the hell knew what stuff that was? There were gloves that didn't sell. There were saw blades that didn't sell. There was furnishings.
He was buying for everybody.
You're just buying
Yeah.
But I was buying for plumbing, and I told my rep, don't buy anything from this man. So I run into my rep about 2 weeks later, and he said, you know what, John? He said he wanted to buy a whole wall of faucets. And I said, no, I'm going to talk to John about that. I said, thank you. I don't have a wall for faucets. That's Home Depot stuff. And finally I just said to Sarah, you got to come over and look at this stuff. With the 60 grand loss and the endless amount of worthless stuff, they finally got it.
Yeah.
And Duane saw the handwriting on the wall and he went to sell shaved ice in Oahu.
Really? You want to read it, Carl? Andy's house?
Andy's house, Hardware Stories, number 2. So you were working at Morgan's.
Yeah, on this fruitcake.